Hi folks, it's Andy and welcome to this week's Kendo rant. Before I kick off, I just want to say very quickly, July actually marks the end of 3 years of business for KendoStar, and it's gone by in a flash, but also it also feels like a much more established business than just a 3-year-old business. Things have really exploded, and you know, I just want to take this opportunity actually just to say thank you to everyone that's watching this, everyone that's supported us in any way, whether you've bought something from KendoStar or not. Even if you've just clicked on some of our content, watched some of our videos or anything like that, I'm really, really grateful. Thank you. Really, I am. It's absolutely amazing that it's come such a long way in such a short period of time. Much quicker, much bigger than I ever expected, and we're expanding every day. We're not looking at slowing down at all. We're already the internet's most loved Kendo store. We've got the highest rating on Trustpilot. And yeah, onwards and upwards to better things going forward. And celebrating the anniversary, of course, we've got an anniversary sale going on right now. We've always got deals going on at KendoStar, as you know, changing every month, but we've got some great ones, especially for the anniversary. One thing I definitely want to talk about is the new bogu bag that we've got, Musou, which I'll show you right now. There we go. Right, I won't go into too much detail about it because there's a special video about the Musou bogu bag telling you all about how brilliant it is, but it is really, really great. You can fit loads in it. It's super comfortable to carry, and it's it's the best bogu bag I've ever seen, which is why we have basically specifically designed it this way to be that. It's exclusive to KendoStar. You can only get it from us because basically I designed it, so it's absolutely brilliant. Get over and check it out, and you can get one for free. You can get one for free in the anniversary sale with every set of Vanguard, Vanguard Prime, or Vanguard Praetor. Okay, with that being said, let's get right into these questions. Preparing the dojo for Kendo practice as a way to prepare yourself for practice. My sensei always said that when we sweep the floor, we sweep all the unnecessary mess out of our heads too. It rang true last Friday for me and my kohai, who came into the dojo whistling and clearly not switched on for Kendo just yet. So I asked him to clean the floor, even though he'd already done it. And lo and behold, halfway through the sweeping, the whistling stopped. So yeah, I think that's a really great point. It is really important to come to Kendo with the attitude to apply yourself fully. You don't want to walk in the dojo whistling and sort of messing around and playing and stuff like that. It's, you know, the dojo is a place of study, really. It doesn't mean that you have to be super serious all the time, but you do have to understand that whilst you're there to do Kendo, Kendo's there to help you improve, but you won't improve at Kendo if you don't apply yourself. If you do that sort of thing in Japan, of course, then people are going to get quite upset if you kind of walk in the dojo messing around, running around, or whistling or making funny noises, stuff like that. Don't seem like you're concentrating or there to concentrate. So sweeping the floor is a great way to get over that. For instructors, if you've got people that are a little bit, they don't seem like they're really there seriously, definitely get them to do that, and it might just turn their attitude around a little bit. Okay, next one. In regards to that Kenshi who passed 6th dan in Jodan, my sensei told me that examiners don't like to see Jodan during gradings. Is that true, or is it just uncommon? So this is in relation to a video I posted via our blog. If you go into the KendoStar website, right at the bottom of the page is the blog posts, and basically I'd found a clip on YouTube on a Japanese channel of somebody taking taking their 6th dan exam whilst using Jodan, and it's a fantastic video. What a great example of a 6th dan exam. In terms of obviously it depends on the instructor, the examiner themselves, but personally I don't think it's appropriate to say that they don't like to see Jodan because it's Jodan. The issue is when it's bad Jodan, which is just the same as when it's bad Chudan actually. It's just that lots of people, because Jodan's a bit different, lots of people like to kind of take up Jodan probably before they're ready to, and they haven't got a solid basics solid enough basics really to be able to perform Jodan at a decent level, and then they turn up to a grading for like Jodan or something. Well, it's not very common that people do it, but yeah, at lower grades like Jodan, Nidan, it's kind of unlikely that your Kendo's going to be at a kind of stage that you're able to get through the grading in Jodan, because it's much harder for you to demonstrate what's needed to pass. Now, it's not to say at all that it's not possible. It's just unusual for somebody of that stage in their Kendo career to have the technical ability to do that. But it's not unheard of, and I've seen it before, and it's perfectly fine. And as somebody that sits on grading panels myself, if somebody turns up to that sort of level of grade and they go into Jodan, I'm not going to mark that against them. I'm going to take what's in front of me as evidence in terms of whether I'm going to pass or fail them. It's just they're going to make this job a bit harder for themselves if they take Jodan, and it's not something that they're that experienced in. So yeah, that's my sort of stance on that. And I wouldn't say, I don't think anyone should fail a grading because they did Jodan, and I don't think any examiner would do that anyway. It's just that showing, and especially when it gets to higher grades, it's even harder actually. But by the time you're at higher grades, you'd expect the person to be very accomplished at doing Jodan, and they'd have to be able to demonstrate things like semi and taking the initiative, whilst having their hands over their heads without using the shinai to produce physically obvious semi, for example. Again, it's not impossible at all, and that video is a great example of it. So. Next one, personal question. What is it that kept you into Kendo for all this time? I think we all get something special out of it, but I thought I'd pose a question. I ask myself that sometimes, as I think we all do. I'd like you to watch the video on our channel, though, the documentary. If you put documentary Kendo is Life, I talk a lot in that about why Kendo is such an important activity to me. I don't, to some extent, I don't really know why, or what it is that keeps me going. And I think that's in itself is what does it. It's a bit like, why do I keep breathing, or why do I keep eating, or that sort of thing. I just do. And obviously I wouldn't die if I didn't do Kendo, but it feels like I would a little bit, which is a bit extreme. But I just can't imagine my life without it. It's an aspect of my life. It's not even something that I do for fun. Kendo isn't even, there are times in Kendo that are fun, but there's times when it's absolutely horrible and I hate it. But I think it's just a part of me, you know, it's just, it is part of who I am. And I can't imagine a life where it isn't something that I'm involved in every day. So yeah, probably a bit of an unusual answer, but that's it really. You know, I mean, I'd love to say like, oh, I really like the sense of achievement, or I like this or like that, but it just isn't like that for me. It's not like I think to myself, oh well, yeah, I keep doing Kendo because I enjoy it, because it isn't even that. Like, I do enjoy Kendo, of course I do, but there's plenty of times when I don't enjoy it. But I just, you know, I just keep pushing at it because it's just part of what I'm made of. Thank God I found it. Right, due to a knee surgery, the range of motion in my left leg has been diminished. It makes it difficult to execute some positions properly. Any suggestions to make it feel more natural? I can't really answer questions like this on this channel because I've got no medical background at all. I can't comment on anything at all medically, and I do not know exactly what the problem is with your leg. The best thing to do is talk to your teacher, talk to your medical professional, and find a way that works. But there definitely is a way that will work somehow. I mean, there's people that don't have, you know, that have got missing limbs. There's people that, you know, that do Kendo without those things at all. So there's ways around it. All right, don't use it, you know, as a way to feel down. You can definitely overcome it and find a way to carry on practicing Kendo. It's fairly common to see one-handed ski from Jodan and one-handed strikes in general from Jodan. But would it be a valid ippon from Jodan to step forward with the left foot and perform one-handed strike to the men or kote? If so, why is this sort of thing normal for Jodan but not done from Jodan? Okay, so yeah, it actually would be, and there's a couple of instances where it's happened. I think I've scored ippon myself doing both of those, one-handed men and one-handed kote from Jodan, not from Jodan, in Shiai situations. It was extremely unusual situation, but you know, sometimes it happens. I remember in the old days, they used to do it a lot, katate hanmen, where they would take the left hand off the shinai and they'd hit like a kind of diagonal men strike like this as they step through. And that's kind of what I did once in a shiai. I thought the guy was coming for my kote. I took my kote away and hit men like this. I don't know how that happened. I've never done it since, and I don't think I'd try it again. And I did the same once for Jodan. It was against Jodan. And actually, I find it quite useful is from this Jodan versus Jodan posture, is to make a one-handed kote strike to their left kote this way. It's quite handy. It's quite difficult to score it in Shiai though, because it's a very unusual technique. But you know, don't, you know, it's just something that I've done. But the question is it would it be a valid ippon? It is a valid ippon if you meet the criteria of Yuko Datotsu. Simple as that. So you still have to make it a good opportunity. It has to be it has to meet the criteria. Yeah. The reason that we don't do it often from Jodan is because it takes ages. Yeah. Now, what I talked about against someone who's doing Jodan, and I did a one-handed kote strike. That's a very straightforward technique because my hands are already here. I'm just hitting this way. Okay. So the shinai is simply going in that direction towards their left kote, which is here. But there isn't a route to that from Jodan against someone with Jodan. Yeah, if I wanted to hit men, I'd have to bring the shinai around like this, which is what I mentioned before. I'd have to bring the shinai around like this, or like this to try and hit kote. It's a huge movement, and they're going to see it coming. It's so microscopically unlikely that that's going to be successful. Whereas from Jodan, your hands are already here. It's the natural sort of position of attack, like this or like this. So that's why you see it from Jodan and not so much from Jodan. It's just not such a practical waza. In fact, it's not a practical waza at all from Jodan. All right. So yeah. Next one. I was involved in a keiko-related accident that ultimately ended in a broken bone in my left foot. What exercises would you recommend to do that don't involve a lot of ashisabaki? Okay, so I think I told this story before on one of these rants. At the club that my daughter started Kendo at, there was a girl who started Kendo at the same time as her. Now, my daughter was 7 at the time, and the girl was at 11, and that's quite late for someone to start Kendo actually in Japan. But she was really keen. She really wanted to get better, and she was doing super well. And then one day, she tripped on her hakama and she broke her ankle. However, she still came to the dojo 3 times a week. Every session, she always came on time, and she brought a chair. She sat on the dojo, in the corner of the dojo. She wore a dogi and hakama still with a shinai, and she sat there and she did suburi, sat in the chair. All right, she did that for, 2 or 3 months while it healed until she could get back in. There was an uchikomi dai, like a hitting dummy. There was one of them in the dojo. Sometimes she'd sit the chair down facing that, and she'd practice actually striking the dummy as well. But that's what I'd recommend. Sit still, don't move your feet. Yeah, don't want you to hurt yourself more. Sit down, practice good posture, good kamae, and then suburi. Okay, you can do this way. You can practice all sorts of different ones. I've got a video about how to practice suburi at home. You can take some of them, just forget the footwork, sit down on a chair, don't hurt yourself anymore, and practice the upper body part of Kendo. Right, last one. Sometimes I see, especially for high school and university students, that on the nafuda there is a small little kanji on the bottom right. If there's more than one person, more than one person with the same surname, what does that mean? Junior or does it mean junior or senior? Okay, let me get something. Boo! Back we are. Okay, so this is my not mine. This is a Vanguard Junior tare that belongs to my daughter. Now, here is her zekken, or nafuda as you call it. That's the proper name. You're supposed to call it nafuda, but I still call it zekken. You can see here, it's got Manchester, which is the dojo that we're all members of. Now, there's 4 of us in our family called Fisher that practice Kendo, and when we all go to the dojo together, all of our zekken would look exactly the same if it wasn't for this little kanji in the corner here on my daughter's. And my other daughter, she's got one as well. Now, my wife's doesn't have one because adults don't generally do it. And you can pretty much tell my wife and I apart, even without anything written there. You can pretty much tell. However, with my 2 daughters, especially if it's someone that doesn't know them, it'd be a little bit harder. So what this kanji is for, this is to identify which one it is. It doesn't mean junior or senior. It's just the name, their first name. And if they've got a name that's written with more than one kanji, then usually they just use the first kanji from their name. So that's my daughter's name there. And a Japanese zekken obviously wouldn't have in English. It would just have the dojo name there. There'd be no English here, and then it's sort of here. So yeah, but that's what it is. It's the person's name, so that people know the difference. I think you've probably seen it recently. I think there was some high school videos I posted on the blog with 2 boys. I can't remember which school they're at. I think it was Ohori. I'm not sure though. 2 boys that were in the final together, and they're twins, so they're even the same year. So they look, I don't know if they're identical twins or not, but we put a bogu on them. They might as well be. And yeah, they've both got that on there because otherwise you wouldn't know which one is which. So yeah, that's what that is. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you'd like to rant about next time, and like me to rant about next time, or you could rant about it down in the comments down there. Join the Kendo Show Early Access group. There's a link in the description. That's a great place to post the comments. That's where I got most of the comments from today. Because it's a community of Kendoka from all around the world. So you don't just get my input, you get everybody's input. Yeah, link in the description, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.